last regular committee meeting. I want to thank Danny for chairing that for us and bringing it through with lightning colors. Anyway, the first resolution that we have here has to do with something for the highway garage, and I'd like to have a motion on that. Thank you, Betty. And seconded by Terry. You know what they call your ruler. All right, Terry.
Close enough.
And starting on this will be Amy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the County Highway Department has, we call it a chip spreader. So when we do our seal coating operations, we do a thin layer of oil followed by a thin layer of pea gravel. We roll that in with a roller and then sweep up the excess rock. It keeps the water from getting into the base of our pavements, and it kind of we use it to extend the life of our pavements. So we use this treatment, this surface treatment, on we try to do at least 60 miles of road per year on the county system. We bought our existing chip spreader in 2005, and we've used it a lot. We've had a lot of breakdowns in the last couple years that have become costly, and we're looking to get a new chip spreader. We put it out to bid with the help of the finance department. We received one bid from Etnire, and they're out of Oregon, Illinois. Their bid was for $386,000 with a trade-in option of $20,000 for the 2005 chip spreader. So our total price would be $366,000 for this new chip spreader. We are hoping that if we can get this order, we can get this for the 2024 season. It's a very important piece of equipment to us. We do have the specifications. If there's any technical questions, I'm happy to answer them. But this would be coming out of the county's highway matching fund to pay for this piece of equipment. So I'm happy to take any questions.
Terry, Amy, is Etnire a dealer or a manufacturer?
Etnire is a manufacturer.
Okay, and so they're probably buying a lot of components, the engine, the things that they don't build. Is there anything about it that is, that would be helpful to us? Like, is the engine a Caterpillar engine? Is it from John Deere? Where do they source components?
That I don't know. I would have to look into that.
Okay. I don't know that it's critical, but it'd be nice to know if we're supporting local, or at least regionally local suppliers. Okay.
Amy, the one you got now, is it functional?
It's barely functional.
I was just wondering, for 20 grand, did you consider even just keeping it in case if you can keep it and the other one breaks down, then you got a backup right away if it's functional.
Part of
for
the
20
issue,
grand, that seems that's very low.
Part of the issue is the computer. We're having
Oh.
glitches on the computer. Last year it broke down for a while. We actually borrowed the city of Peoria's chip spreader. They have a smaller one. We like the bigger one, so we can do 2 lanes without having a seam in the middle. So we did borrow the cities for a while when our computer went down.
So, Amy, so this is the only one that we have. We have just one.
We have just one.
Can you try to sell the old one before the new one comes in at least?
That's what I was going to just suggest too.
We could on Gov Deals because of the condition. We were hoping to
Just keep it. Right.
make it as part of the transaction.
Amy, we have an estimated value of what we thought it was going to be worth. I mean, it's kind of like, not that these are like cars, but I don't go trade a car in without knowing what the estimated value of my trade-in would be. I'm just wondering, similar to them, did we know what our trade-in value for this was?
Mark, do you know what the trading value is on that one?
So when the guy came down before the bid came out, and we estimated, he said somewhere about 35,000, 36,000, and that was in good working.
That's why I said, is this still working right now?
So the problems we're having mechanical. So they replaced the main hydraulic pump this summer, and still couldn't get it right. Had Ednar's guys come down, still couldn't get it right. And on top of that, there's some electrical issues that are intermittent, and can't figure those out. So it's extremely unreliable, and they can't figure out, and we've already dumped a bunch of money into it, trying to diagnose it and keep it running for this season, and it's to the point where
So in some ways, them offering 20 grand, it's basically for scrap value or
That's exactly
parts
what
off
it is.
of it, that it's really not
Just
worth
better
it.
off getting rid of
20
it
years
then,
old,
if they got that
too.
many, yeah.
So,
Okay.
and the new one comes with a particular warranty from the same company?
We're getting the 3-year warranty on this one.
Okay. I think the old one is more of an albatross. It's a, boat anchor as far as I'm concerned. I like the idea of getting rid of it. Problems go away.
if I could add one more thing.
This-
To answer to your previous question, it's a Cummins engine.
Okay, all right, good.
This machine is vital to seal coat. Fortunately, I worked around this a little bit, seal coating and so forth, for different contractors. Even ran the pneumatic roller behind this, and I know how important the chipper is, and if you don't have it, you're not going to chip it. You're not going to go out there and do it by hand. Having guys take a shovel like they used to in many cases. The old one is old, and we need a new one. There's no doubt. Our highway garage has not come to us, looking to cost us money if we don't need it. So I strongly support the acquisition of this. What happens to the old one, that will be determined in the future. Anybody with any other questions or comments?
I have another comment.
Vinny?
I just like to say, I'm not sure who wrote this, but, Mark Giles. I can appreciate the background description. I have to admit, I was not totally familiar with what a chip spreader does, how it operates, and that was a perfect example.
We'll take you out this summer. You can ride on it with us.
Okay.
It's not air conditioned.
Fine with me, I'll come prepared.
Do you have the right to sell it until the new one comes in?
I'm sorry, I missed that question, Matt.
Do you have the right to sell it till your new one comes in?
So, yes. Yeah, so it was an option.
It looks like you're getting hosed on your old one and you got a really good deal on the new one. But if you had the right to sell it till it comes in, I think it'd be a smart idea,
If anybody wanted.
rather than trade it.
Can't imagine anybody buying something.
And then if not, trade it that day, you know what I mean?
Depends if they use that trading value. They lowered that, the other thing to get the new one too. But I agree. I mean, our township, a year ago, we sold a truck for $80,000 on a bid to the city of Henry, bought a brand new one for $150,000. We got half the value and it was 10 years old.
Well, I would imagine this works like a car. We're up to a certain value, paying less taxes on too. So there's more than just the $20,000 value. So like
We
when
don't
you
pay
trade,
taxes
You don't pay
anyway.
taxes.
We don't pay taxes.
oh, I guess that's true.
But if Mark said you got these electrical
that's
problems, I say get rid of it.
So an option,
No, I didn't even know.
I'm sorry.
Who's the dealer?
So this line item, it's not-
Brian, do you have a comment? Right?
It's a piece of equipment we did plan to purchase this year.
Okay.
So it's in the
All right.
appropriation authority.
All right.
Any no further questions or comments? I'll call for the vote on this. All those in favor of the adoption of this resolution signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, moving on to the next resolution. It's in about the middle of the hard copies. They don't have a page for me to just tell you what page it's on. I need a motion in regard to the JDC parking lot as well as the ring road out at the jail. Motion by Matt, seconded by Sharon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I have Mr. Dodson from Midwest Engineering with me if you have any questions. As you know, we brought to the board or the infrastructure committee meeting May of last year for a overlay for the GDC parking lot, which was rejected. Part of that reason was to have a comparison with poured concrete, so we did that. We rebid the hot mix asphalt with 3 return bids for the parking lot and 2 alternate bids included. Also, we put out a bid for the first phase of the jail ring road as an alternate for the JDC parking lot. So with those 2 bids back, first, we got the first one back on February 14th and the second one on the 15th with much discussion between Midwest Engineering, the administration, myself, and Bob Eunice. Stark Excavating from Bloomington was the low bidder, and we do recommend them as the winner to the project, excluding the GDC HMA bids. Now, with that, there are some comparisons I put in there for the hot mix. With the hot mix, it does include a couple of parking spots in the back of the JDC lots, but does not include any gutters on the west and north side of the parking lot itself. With the poured concrete, the gutters are installed with the new inlet for the curb. It does also include the parking spots in the rear of the parking or the drive towards the back of the JDC parking. Unfortunately, with the poured concrete, it's going to take a little longer. The overlay is going to be quicker and less time consuming. And with the maintenance program that we can put in place for the poured concrete is going to be a lot less than redoing the HMA overlay again within 10 to 15 years.
Is the concrete at 8 inches?
It's at 7.
7?
The concrete would be at 7 inches at the main entryway and the drive to the Sally Port JDC parking lot. The parking lot itself would be 5 inches.
And what was it before?
The entrance road from the jail ring all the way back to the Sally Port was 4 inches of hot mix, and the parking lot itself was 3 inches of hot mix.
It's
No,
approved.
we did some heavy trucking going into that area of the ring road and so forth.
Yes.
That's what I'm, and so that's 7 inches.
Yes. Yes, and this would include the whole entryway from Maxwell up to the entry point of the drive into JDC parking lot. Phase 1.
Questions? Jim?
Sometimes things work out for a reason. And I know when we thought that the asphalt bids were high last time and rejected them, and we're a little worried about it coming forward, and we changed it up to do this concrete mix. At the end of the day, under budget overall, I think what the estimate was, and I appreciate the detail of the maintenance and everything else and long-term cost in here. A little bit more, but still under budget, and we're going to have a much better long-term product for the jail out there. So glad it all worked out in the end, and appreciate Midwest Engineering and Calvin and Bob and Scott and everybody sending that back out. So happy that this project's going to move forward, and I'm sure the sheriff and JDC is pretty happy about it too. I do think one of the things in there, you had mentioned about the curb and gutter too, Calvin, is that this will allow for better drainage of the parking lot, because there was some slope, reworking of the ground to get better drainage on there. So
Yes, as the grass meets the west side of the parking lot, basically you have your water runoff all the way across the parking lot. And that actually crosses the part of the sidewalk to the entryway. That will help reduce that runoff there. And that entryway work is also included in this bid.
And this will not be the end of our ring road for this year, at a later date.
Correct, Mr. Chairman. So we'll, phase two, we'll plan to put out to bid, later this spring, early summer, and trying to have that work awarded and done by the end of the calendar year for phase two. To keep in mind for everyone, phase one was appropriated in last year's budget, and it's included in the rollover appropriation that's on the county board agenda tonight. And then phase two money is appropriated in the FY24 budget, which we'll start to tackle once we get Stark on site and start to get phase one under construction.
Any questions or comments? All right, I'll call a question for the resolution. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. We'll move on to other items on our special meeting. Public comment, do we have anyone here who would like to have say on public comment? Welcome to you board members who came early and for your other meetings, and appreciate you sitting in on us. Miscellaneous, do we have anybody miscellaneous?
Yes.
Go ahead, Terry.
Just a couple things. Number one, Calvin, well done. I really appreciate you go above and beyond. This is well presented, and it's impressive. So very good. Second thing, just to bring the rest of the infrastructure committee up to date, I took part in a meeting last week at County Highway regarding the replacement of the storage building at the North Yard with Mark and Jeff and Harry and Bob Eunice. And just want to report that we're in forward motion on that project as well. Things are happening, and it seems like that one's taken a while to get off the ground, but I think we're finally moving forward. So that's all.
Terry, thank you for going to that meeting and keeping us informed. Appreciate it. Anyone else? Miscellaneous? Okay, then this meeting is adjourned.